So yes, Mario, how are you doing? How's life in Malta these days?
Hi. Shall I say good evening to you or good afternoon? What's the time
I
there?
think for us it's already 7:30, so everyone's after
So
work
good.
just now, and yeah,
Okay. So
so
good
it's
evening, everyone. At the moment, I mean, Malta. Let's start with the weather. We are having very nice weather. In fact, January was actually the hottest, the warmest month ever registered in Malta. I don't know whether that is related to the global warming, but anyway, it was quite an enjoyable January. We were having good, beautiful sunny days every day. We also had some rain last week, and today it is again a very nice weather with a temperature of about 18 to 19 degrees Celsius. I mean, as a university, we have just started semester two. We started actually on Monday. Because in our calendar we start in 1st of October. On 1st of October, the first semester is until the end of January, and then second semester starts on the 1st of February or in the first week of February. So we are in the second week of the second semester, leading to the end, which would be end of May of this year. Following that, there will be exams, and then also in some cases there is also the the summer semester, but that is not the rule. It's more the exception for some master's courses. Basically, in a nutshell, this is the current situation at the university. I think will have the opportunity to provide more information about what we offer at this university, which I have to remark that is the only full-fledged university on the island of Malta, which probably, as you are aware, it's a small island in the middle of the Mediterranean.
all right. Mario, just a question from my side. Is there any presentation from your side, or shall I just maybe highlight the website, or what would you
Yes,
prefer?
yes, I have a presentation. If you want, I can start now. Obviously, this is a very it's an overview, giving you some information about our university. Obviously, if there are questions, I would be glad to answer any questions, especially if there are students who are interested in a specific area that we offer at our university. With your permission, I can present, or maybe you have to do further introduction. I don't know.
Oh no, thank you. I think introduction is done at this point. So yes, let's start with the actual University of Malta. So let's look at the presentation and learn more about the university.
Just give me a second, please. No.
Sorry.
Are you seeing my screen?
Not exactly. I think there's a button in the bottom. It's present now. I know a lot of universities use Teams.
Apparently, I cannot share the screen, probably because I am not. I suspect because I am not a I'm a host of this meeting. I suspect.
Usually we had yeah, I think this is the first time, but if our tech team can support on this, that would be amazing. I think okay, yeah, we see it now. Yeah.
You see it now?
We see it now. Yes, now it's working. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's start with the presentation. If at any point you think I am going too fast, or you would like to ask some questions, I would be glad to reply to your questions. So
All right.
let's wait. Let's start with the some history of the University of Malta. We, as an institution, as I just said in the beginning, we are a very old institution. We go back to 1592 when it started as a Jesuit college here in Malta, and eventually University of Malta was transferred, became a state university in the 1700s. Since we are still a state institution, a state university, and since the 1700s. We have evolved over the years, and the reason being that for a long period of time, we as university, we have been the only providers to the nation. So if you'd like to become a lawyer, you still have to come to our university, because this is the only place where you can get that degree. If you want to become a doctor, the only medical school on the island owned by the state is at the University of Malta. So there are a number of reasons why we have evolved as we have evolved, which mainly we had to sustain the nation. But in the recent years, we started attracting the attention of international students. And here are some reasons why, based on because we encounter a lot of students and a lot of prospective applicants, this is what we found out is attracting students to our university. First of all, your university is an English-speaking university, so all the teaching is conducted in English. Of course, with the exception to the Maltese department, which is the local language, one of the main official languages, because our official languages are English and Maltese. And there is also a department of Maltese, and only that department teaches in Maltese. All other courses are taught in English. Malta, compared to our neighboring states, we are still affordable in the sense cost of living, although in the recent years rent has increased, because, as you might be aware, in Malta there are 25% of our population these days are international people. So there is like this demand for accommodation has increased the price of accommodation. However, overall, as cost of living compared to our competitors, we are still cheaper, and we are still on the lower side. Malta is a safe country, and this is what we normally. This is the feedback we normally get from our students. I mean, Malta, you can feel safe walking on your own in the middle of the night, for example. Okay, there is a very low rate of criminality, obviously, but Malta generally is very, very safe as a country. As I said, given that nowadays we have 25% of our population are international people, international community, we as a nation, we have been accustomed to welcoming different nationalities. I mean, Malta being in the center of the Mediterranean, traditionally and historically, we have been in contact with several foreign and international communities. Like Malta, and one has to also, it's important to remark that Malta for almost 100 years was a British colony. And as you can imagine, in the middle of the Mediterranean, there was a lot of commerce happening in the Mediterranean. Malta was used as a stepping stone to the rest of the continent. The weather, as I said in the beginning, weather it's very kind to us. We brag that we have over 100 days of sun here in Malta, of sunshine. Rain, the rainy season, it is just from December up to February, and now in March we'll start. I mean, in March spring will start, and the temperatures will again start to go up, and we will not have much rain in March. It's not normal to have rain in March. And Malta, as a country, as I said, it's a very small country, so distances are very short. So we have what we normally say about Malta, and again, this is based on what students tell us, is that they feel that Malta is like a big city, yet a big city functioning like a nation, because obviously we are a state. We are part of the European Union. We are an independent state. So as you can imagine, Malta functions as a state, a state the size of a city. It's part of the Schengen zone. So coming to Malta, having a Schengen visa would give you access to all the European Union countries, with the exception of Cyprus. So technically, a Schengen visa would give you access to the mainland as well. And the Malta is very well connected because there are various low-cost airlines flying from Malta daily to the mainland Europe. Malta is very rich in history. We have over 7,000 years of history here. We have the megalithic temples, we have the Neolithic temples, which they are older than the pyramids in Egypt. So you can imagine how old they are. And also we are very rich in history, in the sense that Malta was also involved, as being in its geographical position has involved Malta in the international European dynamics, of course, with throughout the years. And of course, given that we are rich in history, there are also multiple attractions in Malta, which you can visit. I mean, here you have a picture of Valletta. Valletta is a beautiful, our beautiful capital city, built in the 16th century, which most of the buildings nowadays, they are still used as ministries for the government. So Valletta, it's one of the places that everyone coming to Malta would make it a point to visit. Well, these days, I mean, the food, we have also the influence from the Italians, given the geographic proximity. So we have our own cuisine. However, there is influence from Italy, as you can imagine. But these days, I have to say, given that there are several nationalities living in Malta, you would find food, as Asian food, you would find Indian food, you would find also any kind of food that you can think of, because these days they have to cater for these international communities living in Malta. The good thing is, again, another thing related to employment. Employment in Malta, we are under unemployed. So finding jobs in Malta, it is not difficult at all, especially if you intend to study and do some extra work on the side. That is a possibility. You can work up to 20 hours while studying at our university as a full-time student. And as well, we are seeing also the trend of several students who graduate here at this university, and they manage to stay here in Malta working and making careers after they finish their studies, because there is the possibility and there are several opportunities for the international community. The language, it's the official language is Maltese. However, we have two official languages, which are Maltese and English. The Maltese is the national language, which is a Semitic language with the influence from Arabic. We are also very close to the North Africa. And as well, there is the influence of the Italian and, of course, the English. So those are the main languages. It's a unique language which is influenced by these three nationalities. As culture, as I said, Malta is very rich in culture with 7,000 years of history. Religion, the main religion here in Malta of the locals is Roman Catholic. We are Roman Catholics. And however, these days, there are also a number of multi-faith centers where students, they can, not necessarily students, where international people they can go and pray or attend any services related to their religion. Accommodation and hotels are practically everywhere. Malta is a very touristic area, a country, as you can imagine. The university has its own hotel, and we also have our own residence, which is literally on campus. So nowadays we do have what we refer to as campus hub, which is a hub for the students which includes a dorm for the students with over 1,000 beds. And it's literally on campus. So if you have a lecture at 8 o'clock, you can literally wake up at 10 to wait to come to the lectures. A university now, a little bit about the history, which I have already briefly said. The history of the university, we are over 400 years of old as an institution. We still evolving, and we have. If you come now, if you come to our campus now, you see that we are extending our campus. We are building more buildings to house in faculties which are growing, especially the faculties like the Faculty of Architecture, the Faculty of Education, the Faculty for Social Well-being. These are faculties that, especially the last one, that has experienced significant increase in the past few years. So there was the need for bigger buildings for these faculties to accommodate them. As I said, we also have the accommodation on campus, which is, it's not just an accommodation, it's a hub, as I said, but it is surrounded with a number of services. So next to the campus, next to the dorm, there is a supermarket, there is a pharmacy, there are a number of outlets, like, for example, Starbucks, a number of restaurants where students can eat as well. And as well, there are there is a gym, there is a pool, and as well, there are a number of shops offering services related to students, like, for example, photocopying, like stationery, computers, and IT. So these are also all found at the campus hub, which is right on campus, which is the student residence, basically. Sports facilities, we have also part of the university, and next to the university, we have a full-size Olympic pool, and next to it there is a gym and a number of squash courts. We are in the process of transforming a big piece of land, which used to be a football ground, into a much more sophisticated football ground, because and we will also have parking underneath. But this project is, as we speak, about to start, and hopefully in the coming years we will also be able to have a stadium at the University of Malta. We also have a well-being center. We know and we are aware that now, since we are receiving more international students year after year, and we are getting students from all the parts of the globe, not just European students or students from one particular country, but we are getting students from practically everywhere. As you can imagine, some of the students, when they come to Malta, they will be culturally perhaps shocked is not the best words to use, but they will finding it challenging to switch to the Maltese culture, and they might need help. So we also have specialized people to help these students, not necessarily when they come, even if they have any issues during their studies. We will be able to help them and assist them as they require. So we take care of the well-being of the students through the center. We also have a number of satellite campuses. Here I am stationed as we speak at the main campus, which is in Msida. Msida, it's right in the center of the island. However, we still have our original campus in Valletta, which the campus that I referred to dates back to the 1592. It's a beautiful building, which we still use for conferences and for some of our premium courses. But most of the courses, I would say 95% of the courses, are held on this campus. We also have another campus on the sister island, which is a much smaller island, beautiful island next to Malta, Gozo. Which basically this campus offers service to the Gozitans, even to Gozitan students studying at the University of Malta. Now, as a university, as I said, we are a full-fledged university. And what do I mean by that? We offer a very vast range of courses, both at diploma, we have degrees, we have post degrees, and we also have a PhD school. So technically, at this university, you can study at all levels. Um, we have we as I said, I mean, we have been catering for the nation for all these years. So the number of courses we have is overwhelming if I show you all the list of the courses. But basically, if we were to summon the amount of courses that we have, we can categorize them under these 5 categories, which are business. Obviously, we have a very strong business faculty at the university, which in the very recent THE rankings, we have ranked with the top 300 in the world. We have also medicine and health sciences. Medicine, again, is our medical school. It's a very strong school, which is also recognized by the British government. So any student graduating from our university, from our medical school, can freely go and practice in UK once they are finished from their course here in Malta. We also have social sciences. Social sciences are also important. We have the Faculty of Social Wellbeing, which I've mentioned before. However, we also have sociology, we have psychology, we have all these courses that are related and under the umbrella of social sciences. Science and technology, we do have a Faculty of Science. We offer also ICT. We have an ICT faculty. We also offer courses in biology and chemistry. So we also have architecture and engineering, an engineering faculty, which is again is one of the it's one of our main faculties at this institution. And as well, we have the humanities, which humanities I have to say is one of the biggest faculties that we have here on campus NMC. So as faculties, we have 14 faculties, 18 institutes, 12 centers, and 3 schools. So when I say the difference between faculties and institutes and centers is that institutes would be smaller than a faculty as in size. So a faculty would be offering, like, for example, 4-6 undergraduate courses. An institute would be offering just 1 course, and normally that would be at master's level only. And obviously it has less members of staff, and it will be more focused on research. The centers are more or less of the same structure, but what I would say they would be is smaller than the institutes and more concentrated on research. As in schools, we also have 3 schools. Particularly, we have the foundation school, which houses and hosts students coming from countries where they have 12 years of education. I mean, it's important. It's noteworthy to say that this university at university we follow the British system. As you can imagine, being part of the British Empire for almost 100 years, the influence of the education is here. So we do follow the British system, and that means that to enter University of Malta, you require 13 years of education. The foundation school will provide you with that extra year before you actually then move to the courses at undergrad level. At postgrad level, you don't require to go through that route. We also have a school for performing arts, which is also a very important school. So we teach at that school, we teach dance, we teach music, and we teach also theater studies. And finally, we also have which I think is also very important for the university, the doctoral school, where students still studying at PhD level will have the opportunity to be to be able to collaborate and gather together to discuss their progress. And also a number of workshops are organized for the students, for the PhD student community at the University of Malta. And the academic life, we do have over 1,200 academics, mainly most of them are involved in outreach. It's also important to mention that most of our academics, they get their PhD from international institutions, not from Malta, and that would give them access and would give them the possibility to be involved in outreach with other academics from overseas. And obviously that brings in knowledge to university and as well research, which we also give a lot, give a lot of importance to research as a university. The ratio of students to academics, it's 1 to 10, because we have about 10,500 full-time students at this university, studying at both undergrad, postgrad, and PhD level, out of which 21% are international students coming from different countries from around the world. And the distribution is about 50% are coming from the EU countries and 50% are coming from the non-EU countries. So the distribution is more or less equally distributed. We also partner, as I said, with international institutions. We have a number of agreements.
I think the sound has disappeared. Mario, sorry, apologies. I think you're muted. That's what. Suddenly. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
All right,
Sorry
no
about
problem.
Okay, so yes, so we do have a number of agreements with international institutions through the Erasmus Exchange Network. The Erasmus Exchange Network is basically an agreement that we have with most of the European Union's institutions out there, where students would have the possibility of studying one semester overseas while they are studying at the University of Malta. So we do have, it's not just European Union, we also have a number of agreements with American institutions, Japanese institutions, Chinese institutions, where these days we are teaming up with these institutions and collaborating on several fronts. As university, if you look at the webometrics and the THEs, these days we are within the top 2.8% universities in the world, which obviously of universities that are being ranked. So we, as a student recruitment office here, we have a team of people who would be able to help you with a one-stop shop approach, where we try as much as possible to make the admissions process at the university as easy as possible. Sometimes, as we all know, admissions can be a little bit problematic in this, or challenging, because you will have to submit several documents. And this is why precisely what we try to do as a student recruitment office of the university. We try to, as much as possible, facilitate this process for our potential applicants. We have a student-oriented team, and we also involve students in our approach to reach out and to deal with requests and to address requests by potential applicants, where we ask students to tour, for example, the campus. If we have visits on campus, we are using students in communications, so potential students can ask current students about information about the university from a student point of view. And we try as much as possible to take to follow this approach. We make sure that as a student recruitment office, we make it easier for easier access to UM, because sometimes, as you can imagine, you would have students who would qualify for a particular course but would not qualify for the course that they are applying for, and we do help them in this sense, to help them identify alternative courses that might be of interest to them. As well, we also assist with the applications even internally, to make sure that the faculties are because the normally the applications would go to the different faculties where the students would be studying for evaluation, and we also follow up so that we make sure that the students get a reply from our university in a timely manner. We also, as I said, we advise them if need be, if there are possible academic prospects for them, or maybe if there's the possibility for them to pursue their studies after they finish their undergrad degree here in Malta. If you need any information directly from us, here I am also providing you with the email, and we would be glad to answer to your questions, or maybe welcome you or meet you online or virtually to discuss any possible problem or question that you would have. We also have a number of webinars throughout the year where students can attend for these webinars. We do advertise these webinars on our website, so students can attend for webinars and can ask questions. We will have our student recruitment specialists who are experts in the admissions requirements, and they would be able to answer your questions if need be. We also have an international office which takes care of the students once they are here in Malta. The international office would help you with getting a visa to enter Malta. And as well, as I said, the international office liaises with embassies if need be, if there's a problem or something of the sort. And as well, they take responsibility. They take the full their role. One of the main roles is to send students on exchange every year to European Union universities. So they will help students go, outgoing students to universities in Europe, where they would be able to study for a semester, and then they would import the study unit, study that particular university into the transcript at our university. I've mentioned earlier the foundation school. So the foundation school, it's if you're entering through this path, and you've studied in Sri Lanka, for example, you would need to most probably would need to pass through this path, and we offer courses in all these humanities, business studies, and also tourism, engineering and ICT, science, medicine, and dental sciences, health sciences as well, and nursing and podiatry, because we also have a very strong health sciences faculty, occupational therapy, and also applied food and nutritional sciences, if that is also one of the areas that is of interest to you. These are constantly increasing, so there are other possibilities as well. However, what I would suggest is that if you're interested in a particular course, you make contact with us and we will be able to guide you accordingly. Normally, this is a typical example of a route. What would you require to enter, for example, medicine or dentistry? You would have to present your post-secondary qualifications, your secure English language test, and then you would proceed to the foundation year, following which, if you're going for medicine, it's 5 years, and if it's BA or BA honors, it will be 3 to 4 years, depending on the course which you would be choosing. What I have to say is, in this case, is that most of the courses, the BAs and the BA honors, are these days 3 years, not 4 years. Okay. Now, what are the entry requirements for a postgraduate route? So if you present at the bachelor degree in an area related to the course that you're applying for, and it's equivalent to a BA honors, we would be able, and with a 60% or higher, you would be able to access one of our courses at master's level. Okay. The secure English language is, of course, always required, as you can see in the next slide, where you have the list of all the English requirements and what we accept here as a university. We accept TOEFL, we accept IELTS, we have also accept Cambridge certificates, and we also accept PTE, and hopefully in the coming future we'll be also accepting others. But at the moment, these are the main English language tests that we recognize. It is also important to mention that we, as a university, we have our own exam. So students can also sit for our own exam. However, our own exam is not offered online. So students, they have to be here in Malta before to take this course. It's not available online. So anyone who is, for example, working already in Malta and would like to access university or access one of the courses, there is also the possibility of sitting for the English test provided by our English proficiency department. So the application deadline for October is normally in July. For the non-EU students, it is 1st July. So by 1st July, you have to have submitted all the documents required. The application form is available on our website, and it's available online at an application fee of 95 euro. And here you have the list of documents that you have to submit. It is noteworthy. It is important also to know that wait a minute, that at master's level by research or a PhD, with the application you would need to submit a research proposal. What do you intend to study? And why do we do this? We do this because we want to consult the faculty, and this in this case the center or institute, depending which area, whether they have that particular expertise to support these students. And once that expertise is found, which most of the cases it is found at the faculty, then the faculty would make direct contact with the students, and they start working together, so that they will fine-tune the research proposal, which eventually would lead to the studies at the university. Here you would find the list of courses, and also this is a link to the course finder. And here you have also our email if you want to contact us. And we also have our social media, which is they're also available, and we normally, unless it's a weekend, we normally answer within 24 hours. This is basically it. I don't know if you have any questions. I would be glad to answer your questions.
So in chat, actually, people are asking a lot of questions, Mario. So let's maybe try to cover some of them, or ideally as much as we can. So the first question is, so the tennis court, of course, I answered. Do you have hotel and hospitality management?
We do have tourism. Yes, we do have a course in tourism, which is a bachelor course in tourism, and both at undergrad and even at postgrad. It is more part of it. It's practical, but in the case of our university, there is also the theoretical part of it as well. So students would be also exposed to theory and literature about tourism and hospitality in this case.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I guess there's a lot of questions regarding the courses, but I just want to tell everyone there's more than 500 programs available. So probably if you're mentioning the program, it probably is there in the university. So do you have nursing courses?
We have nursing, yes. We do have a very strong nursing faculty. An important feature of our nursing faculty is, which is the Faculty of Health Sciences, is that the Faculty of Health Sciences is actually in the hospital, in the main Maltese hospital, which is used as a teaching hospital for nursing and medical students. So the actual faculty is situated in the hospital. The hospital is right next to university. So you would have this university, you have the campus hub, which is the student residence right next to it. And right next to the campus hub, there is the state hospital, which is the main hospital here in Malta, where the students, they have the opportunity to be able to assist real patients. And there are, it's not just the health sciences. You have health sciences situated there. You have also dental, the dentistry faculty, and also the medicine faculty. All those are situated at the main hospital of Malta.
Thank you. Another question is, can you please advise with PhD programs in business or DBA programs, also the requirements for entrance? So I think a PhD, of course, is a very difficult subject, which ideally we do need to discuss with PhD departments.
Normally, what I would suggest in the case of a PhD, I mean, because PhD, we're not looking at big numbers here. I mean, we normally have about 50 to 60 PhD students every year. And it's becoming now slowly we are moving towards, because previously a PhD, the first loyalty would be, or the first point of reference would be the faculty itself. Nowadays we are moving towards the towards the idea, or towards because this is how we are doing it now, of having these students mingling with each other, PhD students mingling with each other, so that they can discuss. They have a point of reference at the doctoral school. Now, hopefully in the next year, we are going to inaugurate a new building where there is going to be a proper school where students can actually have a desk. They can come to university and they can have a hot desk there, and they can work directly on that hot desk while they are mingling with other students around them. That is a possibility. In the application phase, however, what I would suggest is that they contact us. They give us an indication of what they intend to do, so we put them in contact with the particular faculty. So if it is, for example, something related to medicine, we would put them in contact with the Faculty of Medicine, and then the Faculty of Medicine would be able to assist them in submitting a research proposal. And eventually, there will be the submission of the research proposal together with the application, and that would be the official registration for the PhD. It is important that if you intend to pursue your studies here as a PhD student, that you have a very good level of English, of course, and that you have already know, or you have an idea of what you intend to do, because that would save you time in reality.
Thank you. Another question is, I guess I can rephrase it also. Are there possibilities of entering MBA without a bachelor's degree? So I guess it's experience, work-based. How is the bachelor requirements here?
Yes. So normally we treat mature students who are at undergrad level, who are 23 years or older, and with maturity clause, that would be possible to join one of our courses, given that it has no special requirements. Just to give you an example, if you don't have biology and chemistry, you can never make it as a mature student to medicine. However, in the case of MBA, specifically for MBA in this case, it is possible, if you provide portfolio of your experience. You would provide a portfolio of experience, which we refer to as RPL, recognition of prior learning, and through the RPL, it would be possible to be accepted for an MBA without a bachelor's degree. However, as I said, you have to submit proof and evidence that your experience is being presented as a substitute to an undergraduate degree, which normally is required at this level.
Thank you. Another question is about ELs. Maybe we can just give a short idea about the ELs requirements for the bachelor's and the master's students. What would be the
Yes, I mean,
start?
normally IELTS, if you are entering at foundation level, you require an overall of 5.5, 5.5, and 5, at least 5 in all the components. If you're entering directly into one of our courses, not through the foundation route, then it is 6 in that case. If you're entering at postgrad, it is 6.5. Okay, so basically, that's how it is. But we do also accept the TOEFL. I have provided also this course on in the presentation, which, if you want, they are also available on our website.
Thank you. Another question is about the next intake. Maybe you can tell us about the deadlines right now so that people can get ready and get their papers done by this time.
Yes. Well, if you ask me, given that visa process is not the easiest thing in the world, I would strongly suggest that you submit your application by not later than 1st May. The application is open until the 1st of July for you, for non-European Union students. So technically, you can submit your application by not later than the 1st July. However, my personal advice, based on past experience, is that try to submit by the 1st of May, the latest, so that to avoid disappointment. Then, because as you know, you will have to submit the documents for the visa, and there is a process which we are also involved in that process, and that would unfortunately take some time.
Thank you. In case this just also my personal question, but maybe it's interesting for the people. If in case they are late for the studies, do you offer any online courses, or how can they catch up with the studies? What usually happens in this case?
We do offer a few, I would say, number of online courses, but not many. We offer a few online courses at master's level. However, we do not offer it at undergrad level for students coming directly to our courses. We do not offer online courses at undergrad.
So it's best to be on time, I would say to everyone.
Yes. And you won't regret it coming to Malta. So I would strongly suggest that you come to study on the island.
All right. So actually, the next question is, what are the opportunities to take family and dependents, I suppose? Maybe you can tell a little bit about this.
Come again, please.
Dependents and families for master students, I suppose. I mean, I know, but maybe you can tell from your side.
Well, it is doable. It is doable, but it is not easy. Again, if you intend to bring your family with you, it is highly advisable that you submit your applications as soon as possible. My recommendation is that if you're coming with your spouse, for example, maybe your spouse might be interested in studying at a different level, for example, or studying English at our English school. That would make it easier for you to bring your wife or your partner or your husband. So that is also something to consider, because if they have a reason to come to Malta other than they just accompanying their partners, it would make it, of course, easier for the visa authorities to issue a visa, and for us to help you in that regard.
All right. Another question is, what are the requirements for masters in nursing? Maybe you can just give like the core requirements for the programs.
Yes, as I said, as an institution here, we follow the British system. So whatever, in 90, I would say 95 or 98% of the courses at master's level a bachelor honors degree is required. So what
Mhm.
is a bachelor honors degree? What is equivalent to bachelor honors degree? The difference between a bachelor's honors degree and a general degree, which is not honors, is the research component. So we studying at masters here at the university, you have to convince us or convince the academics that you have already conducted research. We don't want students coming here to conduct research with no, at master's level, of course, here we're looking at, with no background in research. So essentially, the main difference between a general and an honors degree is the research component. So if you submit a bachelor degree, with a good, and when I say good, equivalent to 60%, as I said before, or better, um, uh, ranking, final ranking, that would be accepted. I mean,
Mhm.
and you will be accepted. I mean, I would say at master's level, it's a much more straightforward process than the undergrad, because the undergrad, especially if you're entering to the foundation, it's not difficult. Don't take me wrong, but it is slightly more laborious in the sense that you would need to attend an interview. It's slightly more complex, I would say, but nothing out of this world. I mean, but at masters, the masters level it's pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
You
Thank
either
you.
you either have the degree or you don't have the degree. Basically, that is it.
All right. Another question is, I have completed a bachelor degree in Tamil medium. Can I apply for masters without the ELs? Well, unfortunately, you do need ELs, so that we need to work on. And yes, you can
Yeah.
do ELs or you can do other alternatives to that.
IELTS is always important. Sometimes it's even frustrating for us because we want to recruit more students, of course. That is our main interest.
Mhm.
And sometimes we are convinced that students might not require the IELTS because they already have a very good command of the language. But unfortunately, I mean, we are a state institution. And this has its advantages because we don't compromise with quality. And but also for us, sometimes it's also a disadvantage because when you have cases, genuine cases of students who already
Mhm.
have a very good command of English and want to join university, we cannot simply close our eyes because we are a state institution. And basically,
Mhm.
our entry requirements to enter this university, the entry requirements to enter this university are also law because it's education. It's the education act of the state.
Yes,
So
it's very
we
strict
cannot,
when it comes to this.
yes, we cannot compromise with entry requirements.
Mhm. Another question is, I have logistics and transport management degree. Can I apply for nursing course? Age 37, and I only have logistics working experience. So, yeah, from my perspective, of course, maybe we can rephrase the question a little bit different. What are the age limits for the programs, and what is the requirement here?
Well, the age, there is no age requirement. In reality, as I said, being a state institution, we can accept. We just to give you an example. Last graduation, we had a 75-year-old student graduating. So we do have also. I don't want to call them old, but quite people advanced in their age, where they are still studying at this university at even at undergrad level in this case, which is fine. I mean, what I would suggest, however, is that um, uh, they speak to us and they make sure that when they choose their courses,
Mhm.
they have the requirements for those courses not to be more difficult for them to pass through through
Yes.
through, through the process, because I do understand that in some cases when you have older students, even the requirements or the certificates presented will be slightly different from the certificates that we are accustomed to. So in that case, there is also perhaps a slightly more complex process where we would need to perhaps have more communication with the students in that case. So yes, I mean it is possible, and we have recruited students, 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds, especially at master's level. Why not?
Mhm. Yeah, so from our side, what we feel, of course, when it comes to the visas, the older the age is, the more, of course, questions there will be from the visa officers. Yes, we need to watch out for that, actually. So there might not be a particular age limit, but just they need to see your profile. We need to see what's going to happen over there. What is happening with your financial background, work experience, and all these other things. So for that, of course,
Is
there
important.
yeah, there is a chance, but we need to be very careful when applying. So, all right. Another question I see is so MY. People have done bachelors in English medium before. Also, Sri Lanka is following the same English structure. Is it not eligible? Like it's not enough for them? They need to
Um,
have.
what is the question exactly? I didn't get
Oh,
the
yeah.
question.
So the question is, I see people have completed in English language the bachelor degree. Their MOI is English. Is it sufficient, or still ELTS is required in this case?
Well, they can always seek or maybe ask the registrar for a concession.
Hmm.
However, based on my past experience, what I would say, as I said, IELTS is always a must. I mean, and more normally these exemptions, unless you have studied in a country where the native language is English, the answer that they would still ask you for the IELTS. Like, let me give you an example. If you are a Sri Lankan, for example, but you studied in Australia, your undergrad, that is okay. I mean, you would not require IELTS because Australia, as we know, is a native country where the language when the language is English, or you studied in the UK, or you studied in the States. That is fine. However, I mean, if you have studies in a English-speaking university outside these countries, you would still require the IELTS. Normally, that is the rule.
Hmm. All right. Another question I see here is regarding semester payments. So how does the payment process happen? Can it go by semesters, or is it full tuition fee immediately every year? Yes.
Yes. So basically, when you are accepted, you would be asked to pay a deposit, which is an assurance deposit of 1,000 euros. The rest of the fee is normally invoiced at the beginning of the year. So students would need to pay in advance for every year. And then in the second year, you would be invoiced in semester one for the rest of the second year. However, in some cases, we do understand that students might be sponsored by a scholarship or something of the sort, in which case we would be able perhaps to consider installments. However, students we would need to seek permission of the finance office, which basically it's the office at the university which collects the fees from the students. So it's up to
Mhm.
their discretion in that case.
Actually, it's now that we talk about scholarships, I think maybe you can also tell how are the scholarships happening. What is the structure? What are is it the merit based? Is it based on the GPA they have before, or?
Well, in the case of scholarships, as a university, the only scholarships we offer are scholarships at master's level.
Mhm.
So normally the scholarships do not include maintenance grants, for example. It would be either a full exemption from the fee or a partial exemption of the fee. In that case, the students would be given the scholarship in the form of a discounted fee or no fee
Mhm.
whatsoever. That is the scholarships that we offer. However, we do not offer other scholarships where we would pay maintenance grants to students, where they can also find their accommodation and be sponsored to the scholarship.
Mhm. Malta is actually offering something very interesting. A lot of European countries don't offer, which is if you complete your studies, if you start working in Malta, you can get some amount of your tuition fees back. Is that correct, Mario?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I mean, Malta, we have this scheme where students, well, anyone working in Malta, um, uh, permanently, of course, and studied part time, um, or even stops from working and study full time. Following that, if they work in Malta and they can obviously provide evidence that they have studied here in Malta, they would be reimbursed in the form of a tax rebate, tax discount, um, where instead of, like, for example, paying I don't know, 100 euros a tax, just for example, every month, you would be paying just 10, 20 euros, or paying no tax whatsoever. And that way your amount of the amount of tuition fee that you had paid before, would be reimbursed to you in form of tax rebate.
Great, fantastic. So yeah, as I said, this is a unique option in Malta. We work with a lot of European countries, but Malta is the only one we know which is offering this opportunity. So I think it's even though you don't have scholarship, you have this other extra way to maybe get something in the future. All right, another question is how do the research-based program work in Masters in Information Systems? Would you be able to answer this question or?
Yes. So masters by research is very straightforward. So basically, first of all, what is important is that, and I say this again based on past experience of students, because we don't want anyone to come here and does not finish the course with profit. We want everyone to come here to be able to complete the course and have a good experience at this university. So that is um, uh, our main objective in reality. So, I mean, given that you have that requirement, then what we would ask for is that the student submit a research proposal. So the research proposal will be attached to the application and submitted to the university. Once that is received, the faculty concerned, the faculty or the area which we think it is related to that faculty will be concerned, contacted, and the faculty would say, we would be interested and we think that this is related to our area of studies, and it will set the ball rolling. Will student then they will assign a professional or a supervisor, which would eventually be your official supervisor, and then the contact with the student would start, and the research will be fine-tuned. The research proposal will be fine-tuned. When it is done, that is submitted, and then once your student is accepted, they will have no lectures, and so it is research based. So how does it work? I mean, the students will have to meet with their supervisor regularly. Okay, the supervisor would be you will be assigned a supervisor. You will be assigned an academic supervisor who will be following you through your study. So if you have any difficulty, or if you would like some feedback on what you are writing, or how you do the way you are researching, the point of reference is always the supervisor. And throughout the journey, which is normally about a year, about a calendar year, the students, they have to follow one study unit, which is research methods. Okay, in most of the cases, this is how it works, and they would need to follow this particular this module in research methods. Obviously, this would be helping them. The intention is to help them um, uh, conduct research. I mean, the methodology, how you conduct, how you write a literature review, how you structure a thesis, and basically this is what the research methods is all about.
Mhm. All right, thank you. Another question is, I think actually this is quite an interesting question. So please advise with the possibilities entering to a PhD or a DBA with the MBA level 7, but I don't have bachelor degree. So it's again, it's kind of a UK system based on the work experience. They get accepted to,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So
As I said before, I mean, it is a possibility. It's a more it's a more
yeah,
it's a longer path, but it is not impossible. However, it's the most important thing is that they provide the evidence that is required to convince the board of studies of that particular course.
mhm. Thank you. So IELTS requirement for nursing, masters of nursing. So I believe all the masters program they have the same requirement. Is that
6 points.
correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right. Another question. Okay, scholarships we have discussed. Can we do? Oh, okay. So actually, this is uninteresting. Can we do a PhD or DBA part-time basis?
No, unless you are already here in Malta with a work permit, working
Mm,
in Malta, and then you don't have to um, get the visa as a student through university. It is possible in that case. However, if you're coming directly to Malta as a part-time student, the answer is no, because the authorities would refuse to issue a visa for someone coming to Malta to study on part-time basis.
mhm. All right. So this also covers. You have a lot of programs in the university which are part-time and also full-time. So I guess this kind of also answered the
Yes.
question regarding part-time courses. Okay. Um, Another question is, can we get a PR in Malta after completion of the PhDs or masters, or how does it? Is there an opportunity for this for the students?
For PR, what do they mean by PR?
A residence permit, I suppose.
Yes, of course.
Mm,
Of course you can. I mean, if you're applying for a PhD and you have the requirements, we would do everything within our power to bring you here. I mean, yes, of course, of course.
all right. Any guidelines for the research proposal? Well,
No, the research proposal normally, as I said, it has to be submitted with the application. Once it is submitted, it sets the ball rolling. And that is the most important thing is that there will the discussion is initiated between the student and the potential supervisor. Obviously, we will be in the loop if needs be, and we would be assisting the students if, for example, in the
mhm,
unforeseen event of not receiving back from the supervisor or not receiving back any feedback from our evaluation team, we are here to help the students. So we are between the students and the system. So that this is where we come in and we would help and see what is the problem, because most of the time it would be either because it's a busy time of the year, or because they cannot assign a supervisor, or because they think that this possible research proposal can go to another faculty, which is more related to what the student is intending to do. I mean, these are normally the problems. I mean, it's not like someone that doesn't want to supervise the students or anything.
all right. So I think the questions are. If there are more questions, please, we can try to answer a couple of more. From my side, maybe I would like to ask. We have a lot of students in Sri Lanka who have higher national diploma. And maybe they don't have enough credits sometime for the programs. What would be the suggestion here for these students, or what can they do in this case?
I mean, I would consider these students on a case by case basis. I mean, it's
Mhm,
difficult to say one size fits all in this case. We do have the possibility of a pre-foundation as well, which I haven't mentioned. Um, uh, but there is also the possibility in some areas, not in all areas, where students can study at pre-foundation level before they actually start the foundation. So if they
mhm,
have something which is missing, they can first go for the pre-foundation and then can go to the foundation. And this is a possibility. However, I would prefer to deal with these cases on a case by case basis, because much depends on the students and on most of the time as well on the grades that the students have. And obviously we would need to consult, in this case we would need to consult the foundation school.
Thank you. I have another question, which is on my mobile phone. So, is there any application fee for the PhD students?
It's €95.
95 euro for all the applications. Okay. Also, I have an extra question for you. You have university interviews? Yes, the admission interviews. What would be the suggestions for the students to pass the interviews? What do they need to present? What do they need to think about?
Yes. So let me make this clearer. I mean, interviews are the exception. So not all the faculties would interview students before they come to Malta. If you submit your requirements, and the faculty thinks that you are an acceptable student, a potential student, they would accept you without the need to contact you and conduct an interview. In the case of the foundation school, it is different. I mean, any students entering foundation school, before they are accepted, they are asked to attend an online interview. If you ask me, based on past experience, one of the most important things is that they have to provide evidence that they can communicate in English. One of the most important thing is, rather than just communicating in English, is like, for example, because perhaps this is the classical example I can use. If you are studying medicine, okay, you applied for medicine and the medical foundation course, the students during their interview are expected to demonstrate the skills that they can communicate in English, of course, that's the most important thing, and that they can use basic medical language, like they have studied biology, and they have very basic knowledge of the main terminology which is used in biology, okay, like referring to I don't know, objects. I don't come from biology, but using the actual biological word that is used in biology, as in science. Okay, so these are the most important things. If you convince the school that you have this background, then you will be accepted. Okay, so essentially this is one of the most important things, I would say. Language, and the academic language related to that particular area is of utmost importance.
Thank you. We have another question regarding finding a job in Malta, and is there a career center by the university which can assist the students, perhaps?
We don't have an official career center. However, what happens is this. I mean, informally, as a university, as I said, being the only university on the island for all these years, we do provide, our academics are involved in the industries, as you can imagine. So if you're a student, you're a good student, and you're spotted by an academic, you might end up working in the industry. We are now in the process, and in fact, next week we have a meeting to finalize an agreement with a local with one of the local banks here in Malta, where they are asking us to, because they are not finding enough employees to work with them, they're asking us to come here to speak to the students and offer them the possibility of working with them. And this is the first time we're doing it as an office, but we plan to have more similar initiatives in the coming future. I mean, this would be an official way how they would be like poaching students to work with them in the bank in this case. However, unofficially, most of the students through the network they manage to achieve at this university while they are studying it would be easy for them, or not as difficult, let's put it this way, and to find jobs out there. Even
Mm.
during their studies, I mean, if you are connected to social media, like for example LinkedIn, you would see several opportunities for students to work during even their studies while they are studying here in Malta. However, my advice is, once you have found, if you decide to work once you are studying, do not exceed 20 hours. I mean, in reality, this is what the law says. However, remember that you're still a full-time student, okay? And you have to allocate most of the time to your full-time job. In this case, job, you will be a full-time student. And as well, dedicate some time, less time to your work, not the vice versa. Because if you do it vice versa, based on past experience, what happens is that you end up failing. And we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, that is a very common situation where people are not putting the priorities straight. So, of course, studies first. Everyone who's in this webinar.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, so I think we have asked quite a lot of questions, and we have discussed and learned a lot about the University of Malta. Mario, I just want to have one question I usually ask university representatives. So,
Mhm.
why is the University of Malta the best choice, and people should go to
Well,
you?
it is simple. We as an institution, first of all, we are a state institution. So we are bound to be a serious institution in the sense that we don't compromise with marks, we don't compromise with qualifications, we don't want to compromise with our qualifications. We have a very rigorous system to approve courses at this university. It takes a lot. It's a long process. And why do we isolate all this? Because we have the responsibility as an institution that once a student graduates from us, our degrees are recognized worldwide. So if you get a degree from our university and you decide to reallocate to Italy, you decide to reallocate to Germany, your degree is going to be recognized immediately for your work if you intend to work, and also if you intend to pursue your studies, even if you intend to go to US. I mean, we have had, I mean, very successful students who went to US. They pursue their studies in US, and nowadays they are also working as professors in American institutions, and there are quite a substantial a number of these professors. So the main advantage is this, that compared to our competitors here in Malta, which most of them are very small private institutions like offering business courses only. The main advantage is that once you have a degree from here, it's recognized worldwide. Now, especially for an international student who might, in the very near future or longer term future, they intend to go to another country, maybe for seeking a better career, or a more attractive, I don't know, salary. I mean, having a degree from University of Malta, that is certainly going to guarantee that your degree is going to be recognized. And then as well, I mean, looking at the bigger picture, coming to Malta, as I said in the beginning, the life experience, the student life here in Malta, it's quite unique. Okay, and because it is safe, it is also, I wouldn't say laid back, but it is not as hectic as it is in UK, for example. Okay,
Mm.
and then at the same time you are studying in English, and as well, even compared to most, I would say most of the UK institutions, we are cheaper. I mean, as in fees, you don't pay the high fees that you would be paying in a UK institution. And I think for all these benefits, getting a degree which is fully recognized internationally, I mean, I think it's a good package. That it's worth exploring.
Right. So yes, you have 14 campuses, and I visit. We actually managed to drive by some of them, and we have managed to see the main one where you were located as well during your visit. And it was a very interesting environment. People were relaxing, eating outside, communicating, writing something. It was a very like natural, green, I would say, even environment. So. And I also seen that you have modern IT, new places where with the IT technologies, new campuses and faculties. So there's a
Mhm.
really big variety for University of Malta. I would say if you're thinking about different programs, you will definitely have a really special and unique environment you will be studying in. All right, so I think with this, I just want to thank you,
You're very
Mario,
welcome.
for
Very
having
welcome.
this time for us. We highly appreciate this. The students will have also learned a lot of interesting information about the University of Malta. And from our side, we, AHASA, are able to also support you. We are taking care of our students. We make sure you get your visa documents done, your admission is going smoothly, that you are being picked from the airport. And in case you need an accommodation, we can also help with that. So we are making sure you can contact us until the end of the studies. If you have any issues, any questions, there is no problem with AHASA. So you can think about that as well. And all right, so Mario, thank you again. When we hope that
You're very
we'll
welcome.
see Sri Lanka as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks. Bye bye.
All right,
Wishing
thank you
you
very much.
all a good evening.
Thank you. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye. So, um, yeah, I unfortunately I cannot steal the university representative for a longer time. It has been quite a long session at this point. But yeah, if anyone has questions, we can try to cover them because I believe I can also assist with these questions. And our team is also here. So yeah, Pradeep, if you have anything, please ask. Um, Yeah, so regarding Maltese opportunities, what I would say, when we visited Malta, we've seen a lot of students. We've seen a lot of students who were actually working, and no, like it wasn't really a problem for the people to find. It's an English-speaking country, so first of all, you already have a language as a plus. Yeah, you don't have to learn any extra languages, and a lot of students were doing something. It's a big tourism and hospitality area. Of course, they have more than 3 million people coming every season, and yeah, it's booming. It's always nice weather. It's always a popular destination, so a lot of people were able to find some opportunities for themselves. At the end of the day, also, Malta is such a destination where IT is very popular, where technologies are popular. A lot of companies, international companies, are going there because it's a good place for the taxes. So there are different opportunities, both in Malta and even outside of Malta, in different international companies. So as long as you, from our side, what we do is we are giving guidance. We tell you how you can find these opportunities, where you can click, what you can do about all this, and how you can meet people, how you can connect with the businesses, events, and so on. So we'll give you, of course, the guidance of what we have experienced. I am from UK studying pharmaceutical science bachelor degree. Can I do a master's in pharmacy? Yeah, of course. It's the most important thing is, of course, you need to have a good GPA. So if your GPA is on a good level, if you can if they see your documents and everything is fine with that, then yeah, I understand the eligibility. We sometimes also need to confirm it with the university representatives, which we are in touch with. So in case of any extra questions or unclear eligibility requirements, we can discuss this. But it's quite flexible also, so they're just looking at the profile overall. Usually, if you're applying for the pharmaceuticals, you need to have something relevant to that. Yes, it's like ideal pathway into the thing. So if you have done pharmaceuticals, of course, you can apply for the pharmaceuticals or something related in the health sciences for your master's. So that would be ideal. Also, same goes for the bachelor's. If you're a bachelor's student, let's say you want to apply for business, mathematics maybe might be a good idea. What you should think about before applying to these programs. But then again, they have more than 500 programs. There's something for everyone. Maybe some unique options you have never heard about. Maybe you're into like there's criminology, there's law, there's so many different courses and varieties. So just yeah, we can explore. We can find out what is suitable for you, and yeah, proceed from there on. So no worries about that. All right, Pradeep. But in case of anything, you can contact us when you're not in the train, and I'll tell you the exact same information or more the next time. No worries about that. Yeah. So Malta as a destination, I would say it's very comfortable, even though it's a small island. It's it's very packed. It's life happens everywhere. There's so much to do. Every time you're gonna go somewhere, you will find something new. Because even though it's 300 kilometers, it's really well organized, and there's different activities and clubs and student places and sport places, beaches, natural places, hiking places. You can see anything. And if you go to the Gozo Island, it's very different. It's a little bit more Englishy and touristical, with a lot of beautiful buildings that are not on the main island. So it has a variety. And again, if you feel like, oh, I've seen everything, I am tired of everything in Malta, I don't think it's going to happen very fast. And Malta is really well connected to other countries, so you can explore them via Erasmus. You can also explore them via summer holidays. You can just travel around Europe, so no one is stopping you. And let's say Sicily is also nearby. You can always go to Italy just for fresh air over there. What is the minimal wage in Malta? So if I'm correct, the minimal wage in Malta would be around 1,000 euros, around 1,100. But I can double check. I think 1,100. So yeah, it's quite comfortable. It's probably even less monthly wage. Yeah, so minimal wage by the Google, it says 961. So it's quite good. It's not a very expensive country, I would say. It's when compared to the UK, the prices are much cheaper. The accommodations would be around 400 euros for a room. But again, it depends. It depends. You can find some decent place for 400, 500 euros, and everything else is, yeah, on the spot, you can see new opportunities for yourself. Working restrictions for international students. So I don't want to give false information. My team can provide more about the working. I'm usually talking with the universities, but I think bachelor students can work up to 20 hours per per week. But usually everyone does a little bit more than that. But you have to understand that first of all, studies would be more important, because the studies are getting progressively less difficult. It's the first year, which is a little bit more complicated, but then people are finding opportunities and can maybe try to do some extra things. And yeah, master students, team, you're here. Give me this reminder, please. I'm really hot in my room. I cannot process this. Let me just confirm. Yeah, if the team can respond to this because they know better, it would be amazing. I think it's 20 hours. Master students. One moment, confirming. Yeah, so it says it's 20 hours, but again, my team knows better. I feel like master students can do 40, I believe, but I'll double check. I'm so sorry. I just forgot about this particular thing right now. Yeah, masters is 40 hours. So usually in Europe that is the case. A lot of bachelors can do 20 hours, or yeah, but everyone still finds different opportunities for themselves. So don't really think about it. As I said, concentrate on the studies, and then it's going to be easier, and you'll have a lot more time to do everything. Is there anyone who specifically talk about the science field, such as pharmacy? Because there are a lot of questions I need to ask. So I think for the moment, of course, you can come to the office, and we can discuss what is happening and what do you want to do together. And we can also provide your question to the university and discuss it in more detail. So maybe that would be the most ideal option, because if there's a lot of questions, we need to collect them, we need to send an email, and we need to get a response. So we can start with that perhaps. But yeah, we can explore together, or we can find out information about the pharmacy and related subjects in University of Malta. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Does university accept PTE scores? I think they have shared the requirements there. I think PT was accepted, from what I know. He has shown the table with PT, and I think PT is usually very common to be accepted. I believe it's also a lot easier than ELs, so maybe that we can do. But I will triple check as well on this. I think it should be accepted. It's just very common for PT to be accepted everywhere, so I suppose Malta is also offering this. All right, so if you have any questions, please don't be shy. Contact us in the office in the normal working hours, and we can discuss all these things and just help you find the right program, find right opportunities. If it's not Malta, we also have other countries which you can provide. So yeah, don't be shy. Just come to us, and we'll give you ideas about your possibilities in Europe. So no worries about that. All right, so anyway, enough of me, and thank you all for coming. We highly appreciate your interest and the support in this webinar. Your participation is really amazing. Also, the questions were very good, I would say, this time. So yes, if you want to learn more about other universities and webinars, so we have webinar Thursdays, keep an eye. I think next week we have an event with the Netherlands in our office on the Thursdays, so you can also come and visit and learn a little bit about the Netherlands. And next week after, we have another webinar with Creative University in Malta, which is MCAST. So that we can also talk about. They have different programs for creative people and videography, journalism, and all these unique options. So anyway, thank you for coming, and we'll be in touch. Then bye-bye, everyone. Have a good evening.